Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Mindful Art Space. Today, we're creating something simple, soothing, and spontaneous. A piece that reminds us to breathe, to let go, and to trust the flow of creativity. You'll see me using pastel tempera paint sticks in soft, calm shades: yellow, coral, teal, pink, lavender, and gentle green. Once those colors are laid down, I'll outline random shapes with a black acrylic marker, then fill those shapes with quiet, repetitive Zen doodles. Before we start, I want you to know that this video is sped up a little bit, just to help with pacing. So please, don't rush your process. Take as long as you need, because this isn't about keeping up, it's about being present with yourself. So take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Feel your body soften into this moment. Let's begin. As the colors begin to blend across the page, imagine your breath blending with them, gentle, natural, and unforced. There's something healing about random movement on paper. No planning, no perfection, just color meeting color, line meeting line. For me, this is the space where control fades and presence begins. I've spent a lot of my life trying to manage my anxiety, trying to keep it in check, to control it before it controls me. But the truth is, sometimes that control is the problem. The more I fight anxiety, the more it grips tighter. The more I try to organize every thought, the more tangled they become. A few years ago, during one of those anxious, overthinking moments, I heard a talk by a Tibetan monk who said something that completely shifted my understanding of anxiety. He said he had suffered from anxiety since childhood. Panic, racing thoughts, sleepless nights. But one day he decided to make anxiety his friend instead of his enemy. That idea stayed with me. Make anxiety my friend. I had always seen anxiety as something to fight, something to silence. But what if it's just energy? What if it's just the body asking to be heard? That thought inspired something I now call my 3-second rule. When I doodle, I give myself only 3 seconds to decide where my pen will go next. No overthinking, no hesitation, just instinct, movement, surrender. 3 seconds, that's it. It's my small rebellion against perfection, my quiet way of saying, I trust myself. In art, those 3 seconds become a doorway, a space between thought and action, where anxiety can't take root. Anxiety and overthinking can be exhausting. They create what psychologists call decision fatigue, that mental exhaustion that builds when you've made too many choices during the day. In my professional life, I'm constantly making decisions that have real impact on others. Every detail matters. Every choice carries weight. By the time I get home, my brain is tired. Not just tired, but overloaded. That's why my art practice is so essential for me. It's the one space in my life where nothing bad happens if I make a wrong choice. And actually, there is no wrong choice here. If a line feels uneven, I turn it into a pattern. If a color smudges, I build around it. If I don't know where to start, I just count to 3 and let my hand move. 1, 2, 3, line. That's it. That's how freedom feels. Let's talk for a moment about what's actually happening inside the mind when we overthink. Anxiety thrives in the gap between uncertainty and control. The human brain is wired to predict outcomes. It's a survival mechanism. When something feels uncertain, the brain rushes to create scenarios to analyze, to fix. But the more we analyze, the more anxious we feel. Because true peace doesn't come from control. It comes from acceptance. When we let go of control, we tell the nervous system, "You're safe now. You don't have to fight or flee." Art helps us reach that state. The simple, repetitive motion of doodling lowers cortisol levels and quiets the default mode network, that part of the brain responsible for self-referential thought, the endless loop of what-ifs. When you move your pen without a plan, you're training your brain to release the need for certainty. You're telling your body that it's okay to exist in the unknown. That's what mindfulness truly is, presence without prediction. In spirituality and manifestation, spontaneity is often misunderstood. We think manifestation means constant intention, planning, scripting, controlling outcomes. But the deeper truth is that manifestation happens in flow, not in force. When I'm overthinking, I block that flow. When I loosen up, opportunities unfold naturally. That's why I love this kind of spontaneous art. It's like a mini practice for life itself. Each doodle becomes a metaphor for trust. Each random shape becomes a reminder that beauty often forms out of chaos. Sometimes the universe asks us to stop planning and start responding, to let intuition guide the hand instead of logic. This is the spiritual side of art therapy, the law of attraction in motion. When you create without fear, you vibrate at the frequency of trust, and life mirrors that energy back to you. As you watch the colors shift and the doodles fill the page, notice how unplanned beauty appears on its own. This is what surrender looks like. Surrender isn't giving up, it's giving in to the flow, to the process, to life's natural rhythm. When you stop fighting what is, the energy that once went into resistance becomes creativity, inspiration, and manifestation. You start to attract calm instead of chasing it. You start to notice beauty instead of controlling it. Your body relaxes. Your breath deepens, and suddenly, your mind feels spacious again. This is why creative healing and mindful art are so powerful. They allow us to reconnect with the energy of ease, that space where everything is okay, even if it's unfinished, imperfect, or undefined. So often we hear, "Get rid of anxiety." But what if we tried saying, "Hello, anxiety"? What if we greeted it like an old friend asking, "What are you trying to tell me today?" In my art, anxiety sometimes shows up as a tight line, a shaky hand, or hesitation before a mark. But when I breathe and make space for it, those same lines often turn into my favorite parts of the piece. It's the same in life. The things we resist often become the very things that help us grow. When we embrace anxiety, we reduce its power. When we resist it, it grows louder. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, try my little 3-second rule. Ask yourself, what's the next kindest thing I can do right now? Then do it within 3 seconds, before the mind has time to interfere. That small act of spontaneity rewires your brain for self-trust. It tells your nervous system, I'm safe enough to move. Anxiety and overthinking often block the flow of manifestation energy, the creative force that helps us attract what we desire. When we cling to outcomes, we send out a vibration of lack, of mistrust. When we loosen our grip, we align with abundance. That's why this art session is so healing. It trains both the mind and the spirit to trust the unknown. Every doodle is a prayer in motion. Every spontaneous mark says, I am co-creating with the universe. This isn't just relaxation. It's energetic alignment. It's mindfulness meeting manifestation. When you create in this way, you remind yourself that you're part of something larger, a rhythm that doesn't need to be controlled, only embraced. Notice the repetitive patterns forming on the page: dots, lines, spirals, circles, and many others. Repetition is soothing for the brain. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for rest and healing. Each stroke becomes a mini meditation, each pattern a mantra. I am safe, I am present, I am enough. That's the quiet beauty of mindful art. It teaches without words. It heals without effort. You can apply the 3-second rule outside of art too. When you're stuck in indecision, whether it's choosing what to wear, what to eat, or how to reply to an email, give yourself 3 seconds to act. 1, 2, 3, choose. You'll be amazed how much lighter you feel. That micro act of trust breaks the cycle of hesitation. It retrains your brain to respond rather than ruminate. Over time, it reduces anxiety because you're teaching your body that safety doesn't depend on perfect decisions. It depends on movement. Life rewards movement. The universe meets us halfway. Manifestation happens when action and intuition dance together. There's a quiet kind of power in not knowing. It's the power of the seed underground, the caterpillar in its cocoon. When we surrender to the unknown, we enter the realm of faith, not blind faith, but embodied trust. Art teaches us that every line leads somewhere, even if we can't see the whole picture just yet. The same is true in life. Your path is unfolding with each small, brave stroke. Each act of spontaneity is a declaration of faith in your own becoming. When we release control, we become co-creators with something divine. Call it Source, the universe, God, or simply the quiet wisdom inside you. As we reach the final moments of this piece, notice how all those random shapes, colors, and doodles somehow belong together now. That's what happens when you trust the process. Chaos becomes cohesion, uncertainty becomes beauty. And even if some parts still feel messy, that's okay. They're meant to. The healing isn't in the outcome, it's in the allowing. Take one last slow breath. Let gratitude fill your chest. You showed up for yourself today, not to fix, not to perfect, but to create, to breathe, and to be. If this session helped calm your mind or ease your anxiety, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what your 3-second rule looks like, or how you make peace with overthinking. Thank you so much for being here today, for creating art that heals, for showing up with your beautiful, imperfect self. And if no one has told you today, I love you, and I'm so happy that you're here. So until next time, keep breathing, keep trusting, and keep creating art that heals. Bye for now.